Yes. Let's look at which aspect you'd like. I mean, if we break it down, the first thing which we consider is what equipment you're going to use before you even go out, and actually making sure the puppy's comfortable in it and used to it. So that's you can break it down into stages. So if we're going back to puppyhood, which is going a bit of a way for you, Victoria, but going that far, we're starting with equipment. And then the next thing is, if we're breaking it right down, is having the puppy walking around, or the dog, actually, if you go back and do it again, walking around near you because the puppy or dog wants to. And that is the thing which we can do in the house and then in the garden. And if people all did that to start with, it would make a huge big difference to when they actually start going out. Because they take their puppy out, put the stuff on him, out they go into the world with all the excitement or scary things or whatever. And, you know, they haven't got the walking technique. Okay, so I have it off lead to begin with. Then it's such a simple matter just to pop the lead on and carry on doing what you were doing before. Okay, so that's that. Now we're outside into different problems. We're into things, we're into excitement, maybe fear. We're into reactivity, we're into all the sort of the things that the environment coughs up, like traffic, all the stuff. So that will be fairly individual to the dogs. I mean, some just sniff and ignore the whole thing, and others become very, very reactive. And of course, once they're reactive, they may want to pull away from the thing that's frightening them, which again, that's pulling. But that's not because they can't walk nicely. It's not because they don't are loose lead walking. It's because they are trying to get away from something which scares them. The same thing going the other direction, really. If they're really excited and they totally want to say hello to everything they see, again, they are pulling, but that's not actually not walking. It's pulling for a different reason, isn't it? It's pulling to get to something. And then how people deal with that is what we'll look at, if you like. So how about a few words, starting with you, Shelley, because I think I saw you first. Just a few words, what part of all that you'd like to concentrate on? I can't hear you either way. Oh, there you go. Yes.
Oh, no, that's okay. Can you hear me okay now?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So I think for us, it's more about the fact of she loses focus on the walk, and obviously dogs and people draw her focus away from walking. So it's how we kind of draw her focus back to us without pulling.
Okay, now, if you're at home, does she walk without pulling around the house and garden?
Yeah, so she'll walk around the house and garden, no problem. But as soon as we get out to one of her favorite areas to walk, where there's other people and other dogs, right, she does pull. Just to say, she does go to a daycare a couple of days a week and gets on fine with other dogs. But whenever she is walking, she does, when she's on the lead, she starts to growl and bark.
So where you're concerned, we're looking at once you get out of the house and when you start encountering dogs and people. Okay?
Yes, on the lead especially.
On the lead, yes. And let's have yours, Mark and Kay.
For us, it's because we've only been out walking for 2 weeks now. He pulls a lot because he's so excited. I think he's reasonably well behaved around other dogs. He does try and jump at them, but I keep him on a really short lead.
Right.
But really what I want to be able to do is for him to just walk nicely next to me.
Right, okay.
But then I think I haven't really let him off the lead when we're going for a walk along, say, a path near us. I only let him off the lead when we're in kind of a safe space. But then Mark actually let him off the lead when they went for a walk early this morning. And
yeah,
he said he was really well.
Puppies, have to say, like little children, puppies don't wander, do they? But by the time probably get to 8 months old, Victoria, they start to have a bit more of a mind of their own. Before they become adolescent. So, you know, just because he stays not by now doesn't, but this is a good one. Okay, so what I would be doing with you at this very, very early stage is looking at how you should react when he sees a person or dog. Because of course, if you already are tightening the lead and holding him tight, what message are you sending down that lead to him? All right, you're not actually teaching him what you want him to do. You're physically restraining him.
Yeah.
And that in the long term may actually end up by making him feel trapped and scared.
Okay.
Do you see? So it's good to catch it at this stage. So that's great. So in a way, you and Shelley's is a bit similar in that, you know, it's what happens when you first go out. And Victoria, how's it going with you?
Not too bad. I still haven't braved letting her off the lead. I think obviously when I take her out, I've normally got 3 children with me, so it's a bit of a handful to sort of keep my eyes on everyone at the same time. So my concern is if I let her off and she goes running like she likes to run. So if she goes running off, she is quite reactive to other dogs. She won't sort of go for them, but she will bark at quite a lot of the dogs.
Do you think that is because she is on lead? Because it's much more usual for dogs to be worried about other dogs when they're on a lead.
Okay, so even if other dogs are on a lead as well as her, she is still reactive to them. So
I think it's not to do with them being on lead, it's to do with her being on lead.
Some dogs she's absolutely fine with. Okay. And I will always, you know, if they're both sort of coming towards each other, I will let them sniff each other. And sometimes at first she'll be okay. And then sometimes she'll be fine for like 10, 15 seconds. And then she'll start to growl.
Right. Great. Okay. So what we'll do, I think we'll start at the beginning just with a little bit of the loose lead stuff at home. Okay. And so actually we've got the whole spectrum here, really. We'll do that just briefly. Then we'll look at what I would do right from when they're tiny about meeting other dogs. If you can act, and people, you need to teach a ritual, basically, that when they see a dog or a person, it's not their choice to go running up to that dog or person and say hello or do whatever else they want to do. The sequence of what they do, you save yourself so much trouble. Okay. It doesn't mean to say they can never say good hello to anybody, but it means it's your decision, not the dog's. All right?
Yeah.
So let's just have a little bit of a recap for, you know, I'm a harness person. I don't know if any of you are using collars. Are you using harness? Brilliant. And the first thing, just to quickly recap on it, I would now, it says hot weather, go back to having some sessions. I would say even do this with let me just look at my notes again, with Roxy. Just wander around the house and see if you can keep your dog walking by your side. Choose the side you prefer. And dog wanders off another direction, just tap your leg and say, come. And dog will come back. And when the dog comes back, what I would do just for this exercise, just pop a bit of food on the floor by your foot where you'd like the dog to be, because that is the placement of it is that reinforces where you'd like the dog to be. Okay. You don't want to carry the food in your hand, because otherwise the dog is going to go all the time, is going to be watching your hand for the food. So you need the food in a pocket or a pouch. And they don't do it every time, but every now it's walking nicely by you, just reinforce. That's just what we want. You've got this dog, no lead at all, walking all over the place with you, goes off and has a sniff. That's fine. Just wait for a moment, call her back. Right, good dog, off we go again. Do you see? And then as you go along, I mean, you could put the harness on first. You could actually do this with a collar in the house. As you go along, all going well, have the lead around your shoulders, perhaps. Just pop the lead on and carry on doing exactly what you were doing. Just really reinforce the walking near you nicely, okay? That's something which you could do quite constructively. Now, going out. Once you're out, the first thing is, I was listening to Shelley, in a way, it sounds to me as if you are trying to take, oh dear, yes, Luna, for a human walk. You're trying to get somewhere.
Well, no, so we're not trying to get somewhere. It's just we specifically take her on this walk that she really likes, and we go to this place that's kind of like a wooded area, but it's also walking paths. Yeah. And she quite likes it because there's lots of things to sniff and do. As you said, sniff work is really good for them and for their stress buckets. So we like to take her there because there's lots of different smells. Horses are there. But the problem is that when she encounters a dog on lead.
Horses, she doesn't care.
Yeah, she doesn't care about the horses. when she encounters a dog or anything else, she pulls, she growls, and she barks. Now, it's not aggressive, it's just excited.
Well, maybe. I don't think it's pure pleasure. I think she might be a little bit wary as well. You know, a bit of distance and some, the excitement is not like totally chilled, is it? Well, anyway, what I would do, that's a good place to pick it up. What I would do now is, for a while, don't go very near anything, just while you teach her this little sequence. So don't go so near. Try to get it so the people or the dogs are at a really good distance. The distance that she is not trying to pull and bark and stuff, okay? Just as the exercise, you need to practice this exercise. And as soon as you see them, basically say, look, there's a dog. And we'll go this way, and you arc away. So immediately she sees a dog, it's going to be arc away. And as you go, you can feed her something really nice. Now, if you do that quite a few times, maybe keep doing it with the same one. Come back and turn around and then do it again and again. And then after a bit, when you go around, she will stop. If you delay feeding her for a moment, she's going to then look at you. Well, where's the food then? All right. So if you can start this early enough that their dog doesn't expect to go straight on towards something, that it's basically going to be looking to you. Okay, what are we going to do? All right. But the first thing has to be to arc away, because there is always something slightly intimidating. You know how it is going straight like that. That's something intimidating about that, slightly intimidating. And I don't believe that it's pure pleasure, if you like. Might be, oh, I've got to deal with this. Let's go and play with it and make sure it's all right. It's not ever so easy. But I think as time goes by, that dog might not want the attention. That's the thing. And it's so much easier if you can get your arc around. As soon as you see a person or a dog, make a little bit of an arc. And be nice and upbeat. Don't tighten the lead, because if you tighten the lead, what you're sending this message down going, oh, there's a person. I don't know what's going to happen now. And so you're putting a little bit of uncertainty into it. Mostly dogs are a lot better off lead. I'm not suggesting for 1 minute you have them off lead, but they feel less trapped. So the more you trap, the more reactive they're likely to get. So I would say, if you're anywhere which is relatively safe, and I don't know if you can do this, Shelley, is put her on a long line. Give her 30 foot. Might be a bit difficult with trees, but it means she will feel free. She's got all the benefits of freedom, but then you're not going to be in a situation you can't get her if you need to. And you see then,
that's
if she's
so helpful.
Feeling free, and you see a dog, you can say, come on, we'll go this way. Good girl, food, okay, if that's somebody nice, friendly dog, we can have a word. Okay, we'll go and say hello to this one. Okay?
That's really helpful. Thank you. We did buy a long lead today, and we've got about probably 20, 30 feet on it, which will be really helpful.
Brilliant. Well, I would say for a little while, sacrifice your encounters with people and dogs. I don't say if you avoid them altogether, you're going to get nowhere, but try to get a comfortable distance and work on that. That's what I would do. Would that apply to you as well, Kay and Mark?
Yeah, I mean, Barney doesn't bark at other dogs. When we encounter a dog, I do shorten the lead, because I don't know, I think I don't want to be that dog owner who's
okay, right. Well, you are physically you're physically restraining him.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you shouldn't be the responsible dog owner, the very opposite, but instead of physically restraining him, teach him. Teach him. So that means, to begin with, don't go so near anything that you have to be worried. Okay. Get him used to the sequence a little bit further away.
Yeah.
Really, sorry.
The only issue we have is where one of the main places we go through, and we go here at least once a day, is that it's not that it's a narrow path, but all the dog walkers within a square mile go along this path there, and there are lots of places it's quite difficult to get away.
Well, the thing is that the bottom line is you need to set him up for being confident with other dogs when he's older.
Yeah.
Already Roxy is beginning to get a bit reactive. It happens too easily. So even if you have to sacrifice that walk or carry him down that bit, there has to be a way, because in the long run, it's really important.
Okay. So what in order to not get him scared of other dogs, should we do the same thing of try and get?
I think so. You're not going to go straight up and say hello to dogs.
So do you recommend then that we take, because I haven't taken him off the lead on when we're going for an actual walk, because I'm just terrified that he's going to run off and never come back again.
I don't think he'll run off. The danger is that there may be not a very nice dog might come and attack him. That's what would worry me more. And, you know, that could really alter his outlook on other dogs, if you see. So you need to be able to get, you see, if something like that happens, he may run, or he may, I would say that a long line is a good compromise.
Okay.
But, you know, if you're out somewhere safe, and I would have thought a puppy's not going to go away as long as I know. It's other dogs I'd worry about, to be honest, more than him.
Okay.
But I would think now, right from the beginning, he's got to believe that other dogs and people are good news. Okay? Yeah. So you'll have to consciously relax. You're doing the opposite. Consciously relax and say, and sort of make it joyful. There's a dog. That's lovely. Let's just go this way. We'll have a look at the dog from a comfortable distance. You can have food while you look at it. Right, now you're talking to the person. Shall they say hello? Fine. Actually, this brings me on to your bit, Victoria. The 3-second rule. If your dog is at all likely to be reactive, or either dog is likely to be reactive, you've got 3 seconds usually. So they go, have their little sniff, 3 seconds, and whoa, it goes. If you do the 3-second rule, when you do go nose to nose, well, when the dogs go nose to nose, give it just literally a couple of seconds, say, come on, and move away. Now then, at a distance, now you've moved away. If both look really relaxed, you can have a word with the person, say, oh, let's do that again then. Okay. But you give them the 3-second rule. Don't let it go on for longer, because you're letting it go on until it's happened.
Yeah.
And you usually find with a dog that if it's at all reactive, that dog is usually happy being removed from the other dog than the other dog being removed from him.
Okay, so how would you remove so how would I get Roxy away from the other dog if she wants to be near the other dog?
To start with, I wouldn't be letting her choose. I do exactly the same with her. It take more work. But I would start finding dogs, and I know it's difficult with the children, but don't go anywhere that every time you see a dog, every time, and it's not too near, maybe you could get the children involved in it. Say to her, look, spot the dog for Roxy, and point the dog out. Look, Roxy, there's a dog. Come on, we're all going to go this way for a minute. And then you or them can give her food or whatever, because the dog has triggered food. The dog has triggered moving away, and then food, okay? Yeah. Once you've got that established, then the dog's going to trigger moving away. And if you don't feed her, she's going to think, oh, where's my food? And going to look at you. Yeah. Now you are rewarding her for looking at you when she sees another dog in a long roundabout way. Take a while. You know, you wouldn't withhold the food until she really expected it. And then stop for a minute and see what happens. Because then I think she will then be looking at, okay, you normally when we walk, I'm not saying turn around and go the other way. I'm saying go a little bit so that you're not going straight towards, okay? And as you do so, see, if you've got too near to the dog, she won't be interested in food. Now, that is a pretty good measure of whether you're too close. Yeah. But I reckon you get the children to help you spot the dog.
Yes, I mean, Vivian is really good at that anyway. She's at that 1.5 age of finding everything and saying what it is, so she's fine with that. But I have started, you know, when I see another dog coming, so normally we'll go like the other way. So if we see a dog coming our way, we'll like round the field, we'll go the opposite way around the field, so that we're not together. But then obviously when we get to the point where people are passing each other, I do stick to one side, and I've started giving her a treat when I've moved to one side, so she knows. And then when she is sort of thinking, oh, I'm going to react to that dog, I'm saying, oh, it's a dog, it's okay, I'll give her another treat, so that I'm reassuring her that it's okay. And where I've been doing that, I haven't had the boys for a couple of days, they've been with their dad, so I've been able to work more with her, sort of just me and her. So where that's happened, I've found that she's less reactive now with dogs, whereas before it was you know, 50% of dogs. Now it's probably 10%, if that.
Well, that is the way to do it. The two things you need, and you can't escape from this, even if you live in an impossible place and you have 20 kids, the actual fact is you need to use distance or intensity to a distance or intensity that the dog knows the thing is there but isn't reacting. And then you need to make good things happen. Now, what you could do, you might have told me before actually, does Roxy like a ball?
There's one ball that she likes the best, which is one of those sort of Kong balls. It used to squeak, it doesn't anymore. Yesterday she destroyed it, so I've got to go out today and get her another one. But she does love chewing on the ball. You have to really sort of pique her interest to get her to.
No good then. No, if she was a ball addict, you could probably just put a ball in her mouth as you pass the dog. Because that is like a gobstopper. Some dogs, once they've got the ball in their mouth, everything else goes away. That is obviously not like, you wouldn't want to have to squeak it, get her excited, because excited is what you don't want.
Yeah.
But I would say, try to find places you're not going to get trapped down little narrow alleyways. There is only one other thing you could do, and you can do that with the puppies as well. Teach them a really good, let's go. Now that means while you do that, you do it for no reason at all. You're going on a nice walk, you got your long line or whatever, and all of a sudden go, let's go, and turn and run the other way. Have a party, get some food, paddle, have a squeaky toy then if you like. Make it exciting, and then a minute later or half a minute, turn around and carry on like you've done nothing. Now, if you do that a few times, it means that should a dog suddenly come around a corner or something happen, and you have to get out of dodge quick, you just go, let's go, and the dog doesn't think, what are you talking about? It knows exactly what that means. It can say, oh, we run and have some fun in the other direction. Right, we'll do that.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
We've done that. We read it in the Easy Peasy
Puppy Squeaky,
Easy Peasy Easy book.
Yes.
And it's like a trigger word, and we picked sausages. Yeah. So every time, and we haven't tried it outside yet with other dogs, but we learnt it because he keeps stealing clothes from the maiden, and he keeps anything, plastic, paper, knickers, anything. So we learnt this word, and when we say it, I've never seen him move so fast. So we would say that really, really, really works. Right. We just say sausages.
And then make good things happen. Oh, you've done it now.
He's asleep.
But I think that in brief is what I think, starting when they're really young, first of all, get the loose lead walking out of the way. That's a different thing. Loose lead walking isn't really, in a way, anything to do with walks. It's a technique. You can learn it anywhere. You know, it's something the dog can learn as long as it's not all excited or distracted or feeling trapped. Or it's just a technique, which, you know, the more you do it, so that the dog walks or the puppy walks along near you, because it's so nice being with you. You talk nicely to it, you do everything lovely where you walk. You don't do it for too long, of course. And then, of course, popping the lead on while you're halfway through that and carrying on exactly the same. And then what I would do, if there seems a little bit of a big division, like all that's in the house and you open the door, all of a sudden they're pulling and all eager and everything. Now, if that is the case, what I would do is I would leave the door open. Don't go more than about 10, 20 meters, turn around, come back in and out several times, and then wander around them like you were in the house, only include just outside the front as well. But get over that big between your inside now, and then it's wild excitement and outside now, if you see what I mean.
Would that work as well for like sort of howling? So when we're getting ready to go out for a walk, I'll always get the children ready first, and then Roxy gets her harness on, and then we're ready to go. Would that work as well as getting her to stop howling while she's waiting for us all?
Does she howl when you start getting the children ready, or is it at the very end when you're putting her harness on?
No, it's normally, sometimes it's just when she's ready. Sometimes she doesn't do it at all. But normally it's when she sees us getting our stuff on and we're ready to go, and she just gets so excited and she's howling at us like we're taking too long. You're taking too long now. I just want to go outside.
It's so difficult when you're sort of juggling with three little children. I mean, I had 3 children within 3 years, and
that was a handful.
I know what you mean. Yes, it's all a direct result of being too excited, isn't it? Would it help if you put her harness on earlier?
I have tried that. It's exactly the same, if not worse, because then she's like, well, I've been ready for ages.
Yes, maybe. I really don't know what you can do about that unless you give her something for her mouth.
Yeah. Okay.
Could be you could give her something to chew.
Mm-hmm.
It had to be something pretty good though, but she wouldn't be able to. I suppose she could chew and howl at the same time, but it wouldn't be so loud, would it?
Yeah, and of course it's like it's quite loud, so
it must be quite difficult really walking her with 3 little children. How do you manage?
I stick Lillian in the backpack, so she's on my back, and then my eldest is going to be 8 in October, so he's fine. He just walks off and does his own thing. My 4-year-old drags his feet a lot. He's the slow one. I have at one point given him like a second lead, so it's clipped onto her. It's longer than my lead if we're just sort of walking down path, and it's like coming to the end of the walk. So I'll put Roxy on a shorter lead, and Franklin will have another lead. So he'll hold on to that and feel like he's walking with her.
Can I ask you, do you have a harness with a hook at the front and the back, the perfect fit? Yes. Because you can have 2 leads, couldn't you? You could have one and your little boy could have the other.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying?
Yep, that's what we do. Okay. He has one and I have the other, and then he feels like he's walking, and you know, he's having fun doing it. So keeps him busy.
Right, well he needs to know the little ritual when you spot a dog, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And you say, look, there's a dog, Roxy, come on, we're going to go this way.
Yeah.
It might mean
hoping that the more they sort of do that, the more that they'll be you know, Roxy will sort of follow them as well. And
I think so. And it's not like you're running away from the dog. It's like you're sort of arcing away. So you're not going in a direct thing towards it. And that dog is triggering some nice things. It's triggering you being upbeat. Mm-hmm. It's triggering, well, it's certainly not anything threatening. And it's triggering food.
Yes.
And so then once the dog has thoroughly triggered food, then if you start withholding it for a minute, you can then reward the dog when the dog then looks at you, because the dog will look at you eventually. You know, if you hadn't got 3 children with you, I'd suggest you took a clicker.
Yeah.
You can imagine you do poo bag, 3 children, clicker, lead.
They're all clipped onto my backpack. I've got little hooks and I hook them all on.
Right.
I look like one of those one-man bands.
Yes.
A dog person.
Symbols.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Right. Is there anything, would you like us to look at yours more closely? Shall we say Shelley again?
Hi.
Yes. Have we looked at yours closely enough, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think we'll try the arcing away.
Let's know how you go. Let's know how it goes. I do think if everybody, there was no sort of culture of my dog must go and say hello to other dogs. If there's none of that culture, if it was like, a bit like we've got social distancing, then not everybody obeys it, do they? But if it was like the normal manners to keep your dog's attention on you and then decide whether it goes and says hello, rather than the automatic, my dog charges up to other dogs. If everybody did that, well, a dog walking would be a cinch, wouldn't it?
Yeah. We tried the other day. So we know this has been a little bit of a problem now for a few weeks. So when we took her out the other day and we saw a couple of other dogs. Oh, it's Sophie. It's Sophie and Shelley.
Really confusing me now.
When we took her out the other day and we saw some dogs off the lead, what we did is we took her to the side so that she couldn't see them, and then we played a game of Find It, and it was all going really well until the other dogs just came bounding up to her, and I was like, okay, there's nothing I could do at that point. Like, they'd run up to her, like.
But if she's at all worried, you know, at last resort, just pick her up, and she's ever so little.
Yeah. Yeah, she's not like, I think she just wants to run up to all of them. So if they run up to her, like she doesn't growl at them when they're right there.
It's not a bad thing. I mean, you know, you've got her at puppy play school or whatever you call it. So she has plenty of opportunity to go running up to other dogs. And of course, she's probably undoing some of your good work, but it doesn't matter. She needs to know when she's with you, these rules apply. The dogs can manage that. They can manage, okay, when I'm with somebody, I don't have to do this, but with somebody else, I do. Yeah. And I think it would be much better really for her as she gets bigger, because, you know, when she becomes adolescent, she might a bit like Victoria's Roxy, you know, they start to get not quite so relaxed with other dogs, you know.
Yeah, we will keep an eye on her.
But I think it is about you being deciding whether or not she goes and plays and says hello. It's your choice, not hers.
Definitely.
Yeah. Can we look at yours any further, Kay and Mark, do you think?
I think the only other thing really for us, it's because he's got a harness and he does pull. When the morning walks are usually okay, but he does not trot nicely and happily alongside us. He always wants to run bounding about in the grass, and because there are times when we can't let him off the lead. So because I was looking at a perfect fit harness that's got the D-ring on the front, but then we had a discussion about whether, because he's growing so quickly, is it worth spending the money now on that?
And it is, because you see, you're going to have him walking nicely from the start. But the thing is, as it's in 3 bits, where's it? Hang on, I've got one here. As it's in 3 bits, you've got that's the top.
Yeah.
That's the front, that Y bit. Yeah. And then you've got the girth. Now he's got, it might not actually grow out of the whole thing. You can buy the separate bits, you see. And it is very soft. It's very comfortable, but the thing is, if you were to walk him around the house, say, and the garden with the lead just on the chest, you can put it on chest and back, but if you just do for practice around the house on this, you see, you've got it on there, the lead on there, and if he's pulling, you're pulling him back the whole time. You're trying to correct him when you're pulling him back. You know what happens if a dog has anything in its mouth and you pull it this way, it's going to do tug of war with you the other way. So actually, you're teaching it to pull by teaching him to pull by pulling him back this way. Whereas if you did some silly walking like you're drunk all over the place, just with it around the front, and you have to, you know, it's a bit of a skill not to get it all twisted under his feet, but do that. So you'll find him, if you can keep it in a loose in front of him, you'll find that he actually follows the lead. Then when you are out, if by any chance it does go charging off to something, if you have to pull it, if it is just the front or on the front as well, you're going to be pulling his body around. You're not pulling him back. But the thing I would say is you've not got a long enough lead for him. It sounds to me, if you're near grass or anything like that, you need a long enough lead that he can go and sniff in the grass. The idea with a puppy his age, really, to my mind, is that he has an outing and lots of sniffing and taking in the world. It's not about going from A to B. Yeah. I would say, relax.
We're never taking him on a walk to get anywhere. No. But it feels like he just wants to run. Anytime, I don't know if it's a spaniel thing, but there's long grass and he just wants to go in it and pound about. And
well, that isn't when you're going, you walk along a road to get to a field or something, do you? Is that what you do?
Yeah, so it's a bridle path, really. So we have to walk along a stretch of road and we get to this bridle path.
So what's he doing when you walk along the road bit?
Well, the road, I find the road walking quite stressful because it's quite a narrow road. So our road pavement is quite narrow. So I keep him quite close. And then when we get to the main road, it's only a small stretch, but it is really narrow. You can't even hardly fit 2 people walking alongside each other.
You went the other way.
What do you mean?
Well, is this the only direction you can go?
Yeah, it's the only way. So you can't.
How does he walk between the house and the busy road? How does he walk that bit?
He's okay.
He charges, he just pulls forward. And
he does pull forward a bit, but I think what happened, the immediate road outside our house isn't the main issue, I don't think. He's okay. What happens when we turn the corner and we get on that stretch of main road, he knows where we're going.
Okay.
And last night you weren't there, but last night I keep him on the inside and I'm there. And he's trying.
I think you're trying to do too much at once, really. I first of all would deal with your little road out the side, and that would mean that I wouldn't get onto the main road. I'd go about 20 times around your road, crossing the road, going backwards and forwards, going round the thing, going back home again. Forget about that. Stand and let him sniff any grass he wants to sniff, anything at all. Now it seems that busy road is a real problem, because it might just be also the fact the road's busy which helps to stir him up. So what about, for while you're working on that first bit of road, why not pick him up and carry him down the busy bit? It's not very long, is it?
No, not at all.
Just for now, pick him up and get that bit over and done with.
Yeah.
Now, when you get to the
getting quite stressful, that
I would say, because he's finding it stressful too, because you don't know what seeds you are sowing in him, which will make walks not good for you later on. You don't want to sow these seeds. So you get him in the right mood for walking all over the place outside your house. Yeah. Okay, if you're going to go to that place, take him there. Either drive in the car or carry him.
Okay.
Then when you get to the other end, no holding him tight. Put him on a nice long line and he can go romping through grass.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I would. I mean, he is only, 4 months old?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it's really little. That's what I would do. I mean, you can go more formal stuff later on, but now you don't want to sow seeds of not liking dogs or not liking traffic, or, it's to him already, it's part of his walk, is pulling down the road. So I think you need to make quite sure it isn't.
Okay.
Get some nice calm walking in the house and take it outside, leave the door open, keep going backwards and forwards, around, go back in again, and use food, be encouraging. After a few times, he then stopped expecting to go down to the busy road and down to the thing, so that when you actually do it, I would say to begin with, you might just go in the car, to be honest, if you can. Can you park there?
You can.
Yeah. Or we could go down the back roads and over the top.
Yeah, we can.
It's worth it. It really is, because this is a time of his life you're never going to get again.
Yeah. And that's the worry, is that I don't want to cock it up and ruin him for the rest of his life, that every time he sees a bug.
It's a bit exaggerated what I was saying, probably. I mean, it's not going to ruin him, but I think you can sow the seeds you want to sow the seeds that everything's relaxed. Other dogs are nice, there's no problems.
And to be fair, I don't think he's scared of the road. My gut feel is that he isn't scared of the road, because when we come back, he's fine.
Okay.
It's getting there.
Can't wait to get to the place. Yeah.
Once we turn the corner and he sees the Pelican Crossing, he knows that, we're going to the fun bit now.
It's an awful shame that you can't vary the walks. And when you get to the mid road, what happens if you turn the other way?
There's nothing really there. It's just a pavement for about.
I think that it's the way we go. It's the quickest way to get to the nice bit of the bridle path. Whereas if we went a different way, we're doing more pavement walking, and then
what you're going to do, the only thing you can do to add the busy bit, once you've done the walking around the house and garden all nice, now you can do it down your little bit of road all nice, then I would say you branch out into the busy road and do a little bit of that and keep going back into your quiet road, and gradually teach him that you're not going anywhere if he's pulling. You're going to be, only time he's going to get anywhere really is when he's walking nicely, but you can't do that by forcing him, you can't do it by restraining him. It really is worth putting the time in. Meanwhile, don't let him rehearse all that pulling on the busy road. Either drive him or carry him. And, when he's coming back, he's walking nicely. That's great. So it shows he can, doesn't it?
Yeah. But do you think then a switch and get the harness with the front?
Well, I personally would. I mean, it's good, isn't it, Victoria?
Yes, it's really helpful, especially when you've got the double lead that clips on.
Yeah.
One that you told me about, and it's just a loop.
Yes, it's a training lead. Now, this is a particularly long one, but it's a lead with a hook both ends.
Yeah.
It's actually got rings in the middle, so you can make a handle if you want, or you could even probably put it around your waist and.
Yeah, I've done that before. Clipped it around my waist, so it's attached to me.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, good idea.
I was sold. I just needed someone to convince her. Thank you.
Well, you know, it's what I would do. As you know, I'm a behaviourist.
We'll discuss it later.
If I was a trainer, a lot of trainers, what they want the dog to walk along, looking at all the time, looking at the person. You can see these poor dogs probably getting crook in their neck. Well, I think if people want to train their dogs to do anything they like, they can. But as long as you get the right behaviour basis to begin with, then you can add anything on, can't you?
Yeah.
So I think for me, the walk is about being happy, relaxed, allowing you to decide what the dog does, not the dog to decide, basically, but making it like a nice thing, a thing they do voluntarily, you know, no sort of force. Does that cover everything, do you think? What about you, Shelley? Doesn't it? I think she might have gone.
We're here.
So shall we call it a day? Is there anything else?
No, I think that's it. I think it was really, really useful to hear from Victoria and Kay about what's going on with them, because it seems like we're all struggling with something with the walking. So I've picked up something from the whole session today. So it's been really helpful.
I think actually hearing other people really does help, doesn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah, it helps realise you're not the only one who has.
Everyone's having the same difficulties. Doesn't matter how old they are.
You're actually on the same road, aren't you? At slightly different stages. So
it's like fur. It's like Theo. It's like you're doing fur parenting therapy. It's really great.
Yeah. The weekly calm down.
Yes, it does, and it's nice to hear that other people are struggling, and it's not nice to hear other people struggle, but at least this way we kind of all get different tips on what to do. So we'll let you guys know how it goes on the long lead line as well.
That would be good. Yeah, that'd be interesting. And also how you get on with gradually just teaching the dog that the automatic reaction on seeing another dog isn't, oh, I'm going to rush towards that dog. It's, I'm going to be looking to you. Which is what's happening eventually, but to start with, you had to break that down into little things. So the first thing is, okay, there's the dog. Well, we're not rushing now, we're going in a slightly different direction. Right.
No, that's great, Theo. Thank you.
Okay, brilliant. Right. I shall put this in a den for people to have a look at, if that's all right with you, is it?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. And nice to see you. Thanks for coming out on a hot afternoon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Theo.
See you.
Bye-bye. Bye.